What's up, guys? We are back with another episode with a guy I can never pronounce his name the right way, and there's a story behind it, so I'll let him get into that. I'll let him introduce himself. Go for it, Tech.
What's going on, guys? Friends call me Tech. Parents call me Tenoch. My full name is Tenochtli. Story by my name.
But it's from Tenochtli clan, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So I know a little bit, so
Yeah.
I'm all right. So get us into the story about your name, because I heard that all the time growing up with my dad being part of Mexican American Studies, and we learned that a lot in the classroom. So get into where did you get your name from, and what does it mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the direct translation is like, it's the fruit on top of the cactus. So it's the cactus fruit or the nopal fruit, right? But where I like to think of it is my mom would always tell me about the story of the warrior who lived in Tenochtli clan, whose also name was Tenochtli, and he was a visionary. He saw visions of where he wanted his
You ever seen any
tribe,
visions
village.
yet?
Huh?
You ever see any visions
I
yet?
mean, where I am now, I'm kind of like having the vision of, playing
Awesome.
ball. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of taken that identity of my name to heart. Like, I'm envisioning, like, a path that not many people go through and not many people succeed through. So, I'm envisioning myself going through that, and I feel like I'm doing a decent job so far.
Awesome. So how did they get that name? Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know there's a deeper
Yeah.
meaning to it.
Well, my mom's always been like a really big advocate for the native names. She's always wanted us, me and my brother, to have natives names, as well as my CK as well, or my CK, my little sister whose name is CK Mayela.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
What's your younger brother's name?
Yaneri, which means seeker of truth.
Seeker of truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't Banchebe? That's seeking the root of the truth, right?
I think so.
Okay. Now I'm starting to get back into this. This is like what I grew up to, because my dad, he would teach us this stuff too.
Yeah.
So kind of having that name, that already kind of makes you feel like a warrior too, because you're basically trying to always reach the top in everything you do in sports.
Oh yeah, always.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about your family, brother, because you have a unique family in a way, because your mom's a city council member, correct? Yeah. Tell us about your dad. Tell us about your mom. Tell them what kind of influence they had in your baseball career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from my mom's side, she's worked very hard. She's talked to so many people. It's actually crazy how many people she knows.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I was little, I had to go canvas with her, help get the word out that she was running, and, try to help her make the city of Tucson, and specifically the area of Ward 1, just as best as it can be. And as you saw, Joaquin Murrieta, we just got our first...
Thank God, bro.
Yeah.
Tell you this.
We fixed it up, got our first water park, our first splash pad on the west side.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
They've been saying they were going to fix that since I was in Little League,
I
12
think
years
it was
old.
since 2014 they were talking about. It was when the bill got passed.
I think it was 2014. Huge shout out to Ernie Armenta, because I don't know if you know who that is. He was the one that came up with the idea. He's the one that put the foot forward first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, too. You want to know who the first person I ever interviewed was? Your mom.
Really?
Yeah. So that was actually the first interview podcast I've ever done. Never saw the day of the light, because it's always like, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it. But this is also kind of cool, being able to interview you now, too. Tell us a little bit about your dad. Did he play baseball at all?
He played baseball and soccer for a good amount of his childhood. Then he committed to baseball. He played at Flowing Wells. I heard that he was a good player, especially when I go play Flowing Wells, or when I did with Tucson High.
That's like a game you cannot lose, right?
Yeah, his coach would be like, "Oh yeah, your dad was a hard worker," and I'm like, "Damn, I would have loved to see him go play more when I was a kid."
Yeah. You ever get into soccer at all?
No, it was too much running for me. I couldn't. I mean, I did it when I was a kid, but not to the point where I would play against other players. Yeah. Just lessons and all that.
Absolutely. So when was the first time you played baseball? I know it started at Western Little League.
It actually didn't. So my first season was at Tucson Mountain.
Oh shit! So you're a traitor.
I was a Yankee.
Yeah.
At Tucson Mountain. I think it was 7 or 8. That was my first time picking up a baseball bat, baseball.
So
glove.
were you all stars for them and just did seniors?
No.
So tell us about that.
To be honest, I sucked when I was in Little League. I made all-stars, I think, my last year. My last year of Little
We
League,
got that in common then, because
Yeah.
same thing with me, brother. I'm sure I've told you this, because I've been around you most of your baseball career. I was the only one on my baseball team that didn't make all-stars. And then I was ranked in wrestling. I was getting ready to go to Fargo.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, my dad's like, this feeling sucks, doesn't it? And they're like, let's work. And I found that's when I went full into baseball.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was never really that good of a player, from I don't really know, 8 to, I want to say 14. Yeah. Once I got to 15, 16, that's when I was really all right, cool.
You also grew twice in size too.
I'm getting up there in people are all right, cool. That guy looks like a good player, and then I play like a good player.
Yeah. So the first year you made All Stars was your last year of Little League, then.
Yeah.
Right?
think it was either 50, 70 or juniors.
All right, what really changed then? Because a lot of times it's just growing up.
Yeah.
But also putting in the work too. When was the moment you're like, oh shoot, actually might be an all-star?
It was when I actually started like learning how to hit for power. Like at some point, I was just like, my dad was like, "All right, you're not gonna be a contact hitter. Like you got too much potential in size. We're not having you do that." So he started just having me like get your hands back, load up as much as you can, and just hit the ball as hard as you can. So I started doing that. I mean, and it's little league, so I don't got much power. I'm 12, 10. So, I just try to do as much as I can. I didn't, with all that, I did not have a single home run in my little league career.
When did you hit your first home run then?
I hit my first home run, I think, when I was 13 with the Champs.
Tucson Champs.
Yeah, at I forgot, not the Field of Dreams, but that one spot in Phoenix where you got all the different like major league fields there too.
Oh, Big League Dreams.
Yeah. I hit it there for a 10-run rule walk off.
Oh shit.
In our first championship.
By that time, were we already kind of hitting together and everything? All right, so it was my dad's Nike Swish thing, kind of like that. I got into that.
Yeah, it was that too.
So you got to that. So what club ball team were you on? What made you go with the Champs, and what did you learn from the Champs? Because Champs hold a special place in my heart, because that was my club ball team. Georgia Audius was a huge mentor in my life, and I learned a lot. So what did you learn from Tucson Champs growing up?
Well, at first I started with the Amigos, which is the team my dad started. My dad met up with Hector Carpio. Yeah. So they made up a team. I played with them for a couple of tournaments. We never won anything. We were not very good. But then that's when I went to the Champs, and then that next tournament they went to without me, they placed second. I was like, oh shit, I missed a ring. But I played with the Champs. We started getting better. I started like really realizing like, oh shit, like kids are better than me. Yeah. Because with the Amigos, it was like pretty like even. We were all about the same. With the Champs, it was like shit. Like, I gotta work to get to where these guys are. Yeah. Because they had been playing club ball for like they maybe played Little League for 4 years. Then they went to club ball.
Some of them never even played Little League. That's the thing. Like I remember, I was like, how old were you when you first started playing club ball?
I want to say like 12, probably. 12, 11.
Yeah, so that was me. To be honest, I'll say this, I didn't even make a team. For some reason, George Audius said I had potential. Yeah. And he put me on a thing, and I look back now, I'm like, dog, I would have just gone straight to wrestling. So what was kind of like that? I like this because I remember my first day of practice club ball. Yeah. I'm like, these guys are so much better than me. What am I doing here? What were you telling yourself your first day going to the Champs?
Well, I mean, because you remember at center field, they had that little spot in the back for just Champs players, right? Yeah. The two cages. And, like, I think Nick Arias came up to me and my dad. He's like, hey, like, your kid's got something. He's like, you just got to work. Yeah. So he hit with me for, like, 30 minutes, gave me some pointers. I was like, oh, shit, okay. This is what it feels like to have, like, a guy who's been in the professionals and, like, knows what he's talking about. Yeah. To talk to you and like tell you like you have a chance.
Was it Nick Arias or Nick Gonzalez?
Nick Gonzalez, yeah.
Okay, dude, that guy's awesome. Yeah, he has a great story, and that's the thing about him. He's in the major leagues. Yeah, and he still help anyone with hitting. Yeah, yeah. No, it's pretty cool for sure. Yeah. But yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I have a chance. All I gotta do is work, and that's just what I've been doing for the past. What is it now? 4 years now, something like that. I love it because those are the things I used to tell myself. I'm like when I would have a bad day or something, I'd be like, you got to realize you've only been doing this for 4 years. Yeah. Like my freshman year of high school, by that time, I've only been playing baseball really for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So talk about that. What was the first time stepping on Tucson High, putting the Big Red Machine jersey on?
Dude, it was rough. Like I already came in with like a target on my back, being tall, skinny, long hair. I had hair that went down to my shoulders.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting when you came in. I haven't seen you in a while, so.
I had hair that went down to here. Looked pretty goofy, not gonna lie. I mean, I definitely didn't have the body that I have now, which I'm eternally grateful for.
Yeah, we'll get into that about Jet.
So, I mean, I came with a target on my back as an easy target to, get nice, some not very nice words thrown at me. But, I mean, that I grew some tough skin because of that. And I'm always going to be grateful
for that. Was that kind of coming from the upperclassmen? Or
that was coming from my class. Like, the guys that I came in with, the guys who I played Little League with, like, they were the one I was like, all right, okay, I know you guys are going to be cool with me. It was whatever. But, I mean, what really hit me was on our last game, those same guys came up to me, and they're like, hey, sorry, dude. Like, I'm sorry for everything. Like, truly, like, I love you, and I love the person you're becoming. And that really, like, hit me deep. I was like, oh, shit.
Well, success is the best revenge, too. Yeah. It's just weird you keep saying this because I remember going through the same things. People they couldn't get on me because I was playing well.
Yeah.
So we get on the idea that I would be the guy at center field at 9 o'clock instead of the guy going out.
Yeah.
So like you say those, and I'm like, I just remembered continuously telling myself like, hey, senior year, it's gonna come down. You're gonna go to college or not.
Yeah.
And I just kept that motivation, kept going and going. So did that affect your playing at all? Because for me, it was kind of like I had to prove to the coach, I had to prove to my parents, I had to prove to scouts, and I had to prove to my teammates. Because sometimes my teammates would look at any chance to make sure they knew I wasn't playing good.
Yeah. Yeah, that word "prove to people," that word that one hits me deep too, because that was something I struggled with a lot when I was when I was sophomore, junior, and I still struggle with now. Like I would try to show everybody how good I am.
Yeah.
When at some point it's just like I gotta know how good I am and just perform the way I play.
Yeah, George always told me this one time, and I always quote him because that's like his father's honest to say this, give him props. That's like a second father to me.
Yeah.
He told me this one time. He's like, don't prove to the people that doubt you.
Yeah.
Prove to the people that believe in you. Don't give them a second a chance to look at you like you're doing it for them. You're doing it for your family.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the people that, like my mom, like driving me 1,000,000 miles an hour or 1,000,000 miles to practice and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So you get into your freshman year. Talk a little about your freshman year. Were you on freshman team, JV?
I was on freshman team my freshman year, and I didn't even start there. I wasn't even a starter on my freshman team. I played a little bit. I caught a little bit. Played third, but I mean, like I batted like bottom of the lineup most games.
Oh, shoot.
So I mean, yeah. So like going from barely playing on my freshman team my freshman year to going to one of the best junior college programs in the nation is pretty great.
So what happened? So when did you start studying on varsity then?
I started on varsity my junior year. I was the starting.
So you had like this big kind of change. So around this time, is this when you started going to the Jet, or what steps were you taking now? Because believe it or not, like you look at kids on freshman teams, they got a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
And if you're not starting on a freshman team, all the stats show that you're probably not going to make varsity or at least start on varsity. You freaking threw all those odds out of the way.
Yeah.
What were you doing? That way a kid that's going through the same thing could hear this. Like, what were you doing? What adjustments did you make in your life? And what did Jet play into that?
I just put in work. I mean, after my freshman year, that's when it really hit me. Like I gotta hit. Like my dad's always told me like if you hit, they're gonna find you a spot in the lineup. So as many times a week as we could, we went to the hitting factory and we just hit.
RIP center field.
Yeah, and center field. And then my sophomore year, like the end of my junior year is when we started like going to Jet. Like just going to the high school classes at like 6:30 at night. It was cold some days. It was hot as shit other days.
Yeah, that's probably the only place where it's bipolar. You'll have one picture where you're just drenched in sweat, the other one where you're just trying to.
Yeah, you're all bundled up. And everything. It's weird. But yeah, and then I mean, my freshman year, Tucson High did go like as an entire program. Not many people went though. It didn't last very long. But I mean, they still went. Yeah. But yeah, it was the end of my freshman year. I really started going to just the high school class. I just needed to put on muscle. I didn't really care about like if I was lifting correctly at that point. And then I was going to the YMCA as well just to put on some more. Yeah. Just eating. And then my junior year is when like I was like, all right, I have some muscle now. Now I need to know how to use it. So that's when I started going to like the baseball specific workouts with Jose. Yeah.
You know, I've had a lot of people on that talk about Jose. Yeah. His skills is one thing. He's probably the best in the business. But the mindset you get with Jet changes you on the field as well. What are kind of some of the things he taught you that took your mindset level to next level?
Well, I mean, like it was just like preparing. Like I've already done the hard work. I was already on the treadmill. I already did the air bike. I already did that. Now it's just go play a kid's game. Yeah. Go have fun.
All the hard work's already done.
Yeah.
Dude, I got nightmares from that freaking airdyne bike, man. I
still oh no.
You got a crazy workout story you got from doing the airdyne bike or anything?
We had right now we're doing like Thursdays are conditioning days.
Oh crap.
Well, we got rowers.
We're talking about going there to maybe doing a workout with you guys. Next time do not go on Thursday.
Yeah, don't go on Thursdays because we do a barbell warm up. It's the only weight we lift the whole day. Then we go into 15 calories of rowers, 15 calories on the air bike, 30 seconds on incline on the treadmill, and then plate pushes back and forth. We do that for 3 sets. And it's just torture, man, especially with how hot it is. Yeah. I'm drenched. I have to bring a towel with me, and by the end of the workout, my towel is drenched.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. Maybe not go on that. You kind of say that the inner competitor in me is just like, oh, you want to go on Thursday, Savi?
What time?
What time?
12.
I'm
Yeah. I might be able to pull that one off.
There you go.
So you start getting recruited, bro.
Yeah.
Talk about how that recruiting process. It was a school like in North Dakota, correct?
Yeah.
How did they find some dude from Tucson, Arizona? What term it was, and what was it? I know we're gonna get into you changing schools.
Yeah.
But like for me, I didn't go to the school I first committed to. I committed to PM as a junior, but just having that weight lifted off my back, like, all right, the future's set, kind of. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, my first like ever like somewhat recruiting process came from this D2 in San Francisco. They were interested in me. They were gonna go. I was gonna go to camp that they were gonna be at, and the coach I was talking to got fired. He got fired or he left, and then they weren't at the showcase. So I was kind of bummed because I was like the first school that ever showed interest in me.
Yeah.
Then I played summer with BNL, summer of my junior year, and then
with Brian Huey.
Yeah, with Brian Huey, but I had Artie Carrera. He was my coach.
Artie, dude.
Art.
Was he still a hothead?
Huh? He's always, but he's a great guy though.
I keep throwing these stories because we've kind of had a similar path.
Yeah.
I've seen that dude throw a trash can at the dugout before.
Dude, yeah, it was crazy. I have a story about it too. He said that when he played, he threw his helmet, and he was telling this to me and my dad. He threw his helmet on the ground because of how angry he was. His parents took him out the game. He said, "No, we're leaving." Yeah. And I'm not even joking. Like 2-3 weeks after that, I did the same thing. I throw my helmet in a fit of rage because I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
My dad remembers the story that Artie told him. He's like, "Hey, we're leaving. Get out of here." And he takes me to a lake. I was so scared. I was like, I'm about to get my ass chewed out, and like for 2 hours just chilling at a lake, swimming.
Yeah.
And then on the car ride back, then I get my ass chewed out. But I mean, it was like so like damn, like he.
Hey, stop! You can hit that trombone sound. Yeah, but. Yeah, we should tell him like on next time, just be like, hey, I remember what the Padres Scout team did to you.
Yeah.
We were up by 10 in the last inning, came back, and we eliminated them in the Prospect Wire Nationals.
Dang.
Yeah. So St. Mary's, what tournament was when they found you?
Well, the University of Mary, it was like, yeah. So they never did. It was Artie who reached out to them. It was like, hey, I got a player for you. Like,
oh shit.
Like they had never seen me play.
Shout out to Artie.
Yeah. They had never seen me play. All they seen was my highlights on my Instagram, all that on Twitter, and then just a word from Artie. And then from there, they're just like, hey, come over for a visit. And like, for real? Like, you guys never even seen me play. Like,
yeah.
And they're like, yeah, so we'll just fly out here. We'll pay for everything else, the hotel, food. And it was pretty cool. The campus was nice. It was small, though. It was like 4,000 people.
Yeah.
It was a little bigger than Tucson High, which is crazy. But
you get to see it with the D2s. You're like, oh, shit, this is probably about the size of my high school.
Yeah. But the campus was very nice, and especially the cafeteria. That was one of the parts that sold me. It was 24 hours, the cafeteria.
Oh, nice.
It was a 24-hour open cafeteria. I could get home. I could get back from a 2 a.m. game and still eat after. So.
Oh, that's cool.
That was pretty cool.
Okay, now, any Division II, any NCAA school is good.
Yeah.
But now, what goes on, and I know you kind of have to be careful with what you say with this.
Yeah.
What really made the decision going to Central? Because Central is like, if not people know, that's probably the most notorious JUCO in the country.
Yeah. Well, I think the talk that I had with my parents was just that, like, the goal isn't just to go play college baseball. If I would just want a college baseball experience, I'd go to the university, have fun, play my 4 years, call it there. The goal is to go play professional. And I don't think any other JUCOs, like, do it better than Central Arizona. They send guys to major D1s and the pros, or some people just get drafted straight out of there. So even if I don't play my freshman year, if I get redshirted, I already know I'm going to put on a good 10, 15 pounds, learn things I've never learned before. So it's just the fact that I'm going to develop.
Yeah, and you're going to be with the best.
Well, yeah.
You're going to be with the best.
So I think that, and then, I mean, it's cheaper, closer to home. It's not going to be -30, so.
Be like 130.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still getting a college education. I mean, obviously, it's not a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
But I mean.
You're getting a PhD in baseball, though.
Yeah, oh yeah. If things go to plan, I play 3 years over there if I redshirt, and then go to a Division I for a year or two, and then hopefully, go play pro ball somewhere. And at this point, it's just like, I want to be able to turn baseball into a career. I don't care if I go play in Korea, Japan, freaking Africa, here. I mean, obviously, here's the dream, but.
Yeah,
I just want to be able to play and like make some money off it, make it make it my life like more than it already is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just hearing the story of you not making All-Stars till you're 12, now going to one of the best JUCOs in the country is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you've also had a really successful senior year, being able to play in the 6A All-Star game. What was that experience like? Because you're with all the best players in Arizona. 6A's, people will say 5A, 6A is not that different.
Yeah.
It's different. What was that experience like, being able to play against the best players in 6A?
It was fun. I mean, I got to meet a lot of guys, and then I met like 2 or 3 guys that were sponsored. I'm like, excuse me, you have companies giving you free. You have companies giving you free stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I know the NIL deals started going in January.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? And like they were getting free batting gloves and all this. I'm like, I want that, but obviously I never had that like big name on my back my sophomore, junior year. Like, and nobody really knew me.
Where were they going to college?
They're all going to D1 schools. They're all going to Power 5 D1s. And these guys were big. They were like 6'2", 210, something like that. They were freaking big. So it was just cool to see, like, that's what I want to look like by the time summer's done or by the time my freshman year's done. Like, I want to look like that. I want to be able to have that, like, extra little form of, like, projectability.
Yeah, just going there made you step it up the next level. Just like kind of how Central is going to act.
Yeah.
You're going to be with the best, so you got to step it up if you want to hang around.
Yeah, and it was cool because, like, I'm playing with guys who are all going to go play at that next level. Like, it's no longer just playing with my high school team where there's 3 or 4 guys who are going to go play college ball. These guys are all going to go play college ball.
You get an ace. You get a high school ace every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm happy you brought up high school, because if anyone knows, Tucson High is the most prestigious high school baseball program in the country.
Yeah.
Most national championships in the country. And we don't miss playoffs. And for a while there, it looked like you didn't even have a shot. I think there was one time you were ranked like 38th. Only 24 get in.
Yeah.
You were a senior on the squad, a leader on the squad. What was going on to turn the table?
Yeah, well, we started off real slow. The season started off 0-7. So it was rough. But we got our first one in Boris, which is probably one of the best tournaments you could go to in Arizona, other than the Arizona Fall Classic. But we had schools like Basic, Corona, Castile was in it, Centennial. A lot of these teams that are like state championship, like they can win the state championship if they want to. Like Castile and Corona, they were both in the state championship. Centennial was in the 5A state championship. Somehow we beat them. Don't know how, but I mean, like we got our first win against Centennial, and it was just like, all right, we can do this. And they were a good squad. Like, it just took us a while to really get our foot in the door and really like, realize that, hey, we're a good team and people know we are. We just gotta prove that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much just where it was. We just had a slow start and then we picked it back up.
What was Morris telling you? Because like even with my senior squad, we went like 1-11, then we won 15 in a row. What were kind of lessons Morris was teaching you guys? Because I always say this, even though he's my boss right now. Yeah, I was saying this before I was one of his coaches. There's no one better that does it like Morris. He will prepare you for college like no other. Yeah. What were kind of lessons and kind of motivational speeches he was giving you guys to still stay focused and knowing that it's still possible to make playoffs? And after that, I want to get into that last game against Walden Grove too.
So it was just always like, he always knew that we were going to get in there. He's like, all right, we just got to win 7 more, 6 more. And like, it was that game against Buena. We played Buena. And like, we for sure needed to beat them and then continue to win throughout the rest of the season to make playoffs, like as a for sure thing. We lost to them, and that's when we were like, shit, we might not be able to do this. But it was just the fact that he expected us to win. The fact that he expected us to win every game by a blowout really helped as well. And I mean, like, yeah, we put in hella work. Like, it was to the point where, like, we were only doing fielding for a practice. Or he made this new thing up called chaos fielding. We got 4 fungos, but, like, not where the plate is, like, up at you. You got 4 different plays going on, just your mind's scrambling all over the place. And that's just what made the game easier. Like, obviously, you've heard the term, like, practice harder than you play. Or it goes something like that.
My JV guys right now know that better than anyone else right now, probably.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to practice harder than the game is. That way, when you play the game, you're just having fun. Yeah. So I think that's where, like, we really had that turnaround.
So we'll finish up with this and kind of how your senior regular season finished up.
Yeah.
What the hell happened at that Walden Grove
Oh
game?
my
Because
god.
I heard that the head coach and Rosenhauser, he's a great guy, and I know he was just probably making sure he wasn't trying to lose.
Yeah.
I heard like you guys were top 7, top 8 tied up, lights went out or lights are out, and you want to end the game. Then Morris, and if anyone knows Morris, he hates losing more than he wants to win. People heard that. He was on the phone with the AD trying to everyone to get back to Cherry. He was like, I'll figure out a way to get the money so they go back to Cherry. What was going on in the dugout? What was going through your head and that? Because you needed to win that game to go to playoffs.
Yeah, so we needed that game to have a chance, because then we had to wait to see what the result was for, I think it was Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, and then Westwood.
Yeah, Westwood, to see who was gonna, like, if we were gonna make it or if they were. So we had to win that game to, like, still have a chance and just wait for them to lose, because that is what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So Walden Grove doesn't have any lights, which is, I mean, even Sahuarita has lights. How does Walden Grove not have lights? So we're playing, and it was just back and forth. It shouldn't have been, though, but their field's kind of small, so we let up like 3 homers that game to them. Yeah. Their only senior, and it was their senior night too, had 2 home runs. He wasn't even a starter on the team.
I don't think they made playoffs either, so that was a good way to go out.
Yeah, he had 2 homers. He was carrying the team. But, I mean, we just kept battling back. We didn't give up. And then it was to some point where, like, the umpires were taking forever. They're like, is it too dark? And we're like, for how long you guys have been talking about, if it's too dark, we could have continued playing and finished the game, because now it's too dark.
How bad was Morris screaming at them?
Dude, he was just like, let's go, let's play. Like, we got plenty of light. Let's go, let's finish this. Yeah. He wanted to just finish it. And they were just taking forever, and they were talking. And it took so long to the point where, like, they started having the senior night celebrations while the coaches and umpires were talking.
I heard Morris was the reason why that stopped, too.
Yeah. So then we were just like, we can't do this. We gotta figure out a way to finish this game. Yeah. So yeah, he's calling up Miss Miller to ask her, like, hey, let's go. Can we go play at Cherry? Can we go turn on the lights at Cherry? And then I think at some point, like, somebody came up with the idea at playing at Sahuarita. And Sahuarita, I just finished practice, and I have some guys there as well. Yeah. I have some guys that I know. And then, yeah, so we get in the bus, and he's like, all right, everybody put your pants back on, your cleats. We're going to Sahuarita to finish this game. We're like, what the? And everybody's hyped, because we're like, all right, cool. We're gonna win this game now. I think by then we were up by 2. Yeah. So we do like a 5-minute warm up. The lights aren't even on yet at Sahuarita. They finally turn on. We have to. The turtle is still there that they were using. We have to move that to like the corner of the field where it's still technically in play. But yeah, we got the last 6 outs of the game, and then we won. And then we just had to wait for the results from Westwood. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys have a playoff selection party or anything like that? Or?
No, we didn't. Our coach just like expects us to do that. So
yeah, I mean, kind of asked you that knowing that, because that's just expectation. Yeah. Like, you got to make playoffs every single year, and that the way you guys came back and did it was freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely was not the way I expected to do it my senior. I thought we were gonna make. I mean, I knew we had a great team, but I was like, all right, we're gonna get the bye. Yeah. And we lose our first 3, and I'm like, all right, we're cool. And then we lose our first 7. I'm like, oh, shit.
I mean, those are the ones that bring character. Those are memories you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
So today's Father's Day. This is going to come out Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. Which is my birthday. Cool.
Oh, even better. When's your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Well, I'll have it out tomorrow for your birthday. And I'll make sure I'll put that in the descriptions. But, who are the father figures in your life to help you get to this point, and give them a shout out? Yeah. Because with me, I have my dad, great role model in my life, but I've had a village of male role models in my life. I could tell Hector Carpio, my uncle Mike Romero, who I'm too much alike. All those people helped me get to where I am, and still getting me to this mindset right now. Got to shout out my grandfathers too. Yeah. So who are the people in your life to help you get to that? Not just your dad, but the other father figures in your life as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously my dad. He was the one who got me into baseball. Uciel Barrios. He's been the guy who's just like, he taught me the idea of hard work. I think that was his big role in my life. And obviously he's made me a good man. Yeah. But I mean, the big one was he taught me the value of hard work. So, I mean, he's a big part of it for sure. And then my stepfather, Jim Byrne, he was always, he was my caretaker. He took really good care of me and my mom and my siblings. He gave me two beautiful siblings, CK and Jorge. And they're a blast. They got so much energy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just a really big supporter in my life as well. And then my late tata, he passed away like a year and a half ago almost. But he always believed in me, which is super nice. And he's where I get my height and my color from, which is awesome. And obviously my mom too. You've seen her.
Yeah.
But like he's where I get a big part of like my native culture from. But one of the words that he told me before he passed was the sky's the limit. So that's been a big motto for me lately, because he told me that right before actually I went on a visit to North Dakota. And it was devastating, because like while I was in North Dakota was when he passed away. And I was just like, I prayed and prayed, hoping that he would still be with us before, like when I got back. And then it sucked seeing like my mom called me right after I got done with the campus visit.
Yeah.
I'm on the toilet crying, because I mean she tells me the news, and I'm like, oh my God, like I really wasn't there to be with him in his last moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like anything, you were where he would want you to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, I lost my grandfather when I was 6 years old. Sometimes I speak from experience. I was there. I had the paramedics freaking over there. And sometimes I can tell you this, even never knowing him, I guarantee you would rather you be where you're at right now. And especially seeing you now, going to one of the best JUCOs in the country, getting off an extremely successful senior high school. Basically, just doing, like, we'll wrap with this. You're doing exactly what your name means.
Yeah. You're
shooting to the top. And keep going there, brother. Appreciate you being on my show, man.
Thank you.
We're going to have you back. Yeah, winter break. We're going to have you again. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the fathers around. Hey, special shout out to all my father figures in my life. My dad, who made me tough. My uncles, who gave me a little bit more care in my life. And my crazy uncle, Mike Romero, who's taught me more in the wrestling room than any other. Special shout out to Hector Carpio, George Arias, Richard Lopez. Thank you guys for everything, for being a huge part of my life. And especially Edgardo Soto, who's the show's name after. Thank you for just being in my life spiritually. Love you guys. We got Sly Lewis from Pueblo High School coming up next week. See you guys.
Thank you.